KWT slaying.
Salama family, salama. How y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So, for me, I play chess. I'm pretty good at it. And to get pretty good at chess, you have to be able to see a lot of pins. You have to see how people like to say, oh, he looked 4 and 5, 6, 7 moves ahead. It's really being able to see all those attacks that they can have against you, right? So just like in chess, when you're looking for certain moves, it's the same thing with the New World Order, with the Luciferic agenda, how they are moving their pieces, how they're moving the pawns, and how they're setting up their knights, and how they're setting up their bishops and their queens and their kings. And so that's why, like, in the beginning, I used to study chess all the time. And so I would beat my brother. And my brother would be like, I had you. And I'd be like, you never had me. I had this game won a long time ago. Now he plays like I play. He can beat me, right? I'm like, he's very strong. Okay. He has grown playing chess against me. But in the beginning, he couldn't see what I see. It's the same thing today with many Israelites, many Christians, anybody who's really looking at the end times, they don't see what I see. That's why a lot of times I'll tell you, oh, this is what I think. This is what Yakoba sees. Because I see things other people don't see. Now, this also helps me since I'm a programmer. I would see things other people don't see. I got so good, I don't even have to look at the code. Like, I remember my boss used to tell me, he was like, well, this is what I think the problem is. I say, no, that's not the problem. I say, this is the problem. Oh, no, I think you're wrong. I say, okay, we shall see. And guess who was right? Happened more than once that at the end, he'd be like, okay, I think it's this. And I say, no, it's not that. He'd be like, okay, Yakoba. Because he knows that I'm usually right. I don't even have to look at the code. There's experience, things that come with experience that you don't even have to look at it no more. So like even with my brother, I was helping him with something. He asked me a question. We was talking about some stuff. I say, oh, just do this. And so he was able to find the problem. I guess you could call that one of those gifts from the Most High. But it's the same with end time prophecy. So a lot of people are going to tell you this. A lot of people are going to tell you that. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just telling you I see things different. And so as you all know, we've been having a quote unquote, what they call a stock market crash. Now, there's a lot of things that I ask myself when these news items, hard-hitting events happen, and it is what it is. But I ask myself a lot of questions. So Bitcoin, Ethereum crashed over 70% from peaks. Crypto investors lose over $2 trillion in 8 months. Now, some of the stuff I'm going to talk about going to be prophetic. Some of it is going to be financial. Some of it is, just going to be my opinion on a lot of stuff, really. But eat the meat, spit out the bones. Don't take financial advice from me because I ain't never been good at it. I'm just telling you what I see. Okay. So, New Delhi, the carnage in the crypto market has gathered pace with no near term respite in sight. Considering the latest slide, investors have lost over 2 trillion over 8 months. Now, a lot of people jumping ships. They see the ship sinking, they see the Titanic sinking, and they're jumping ship. Can't blame them. I'm not jumping ship. Well, you're cool, but don't you see this? The Titanic going down is taking on water? Yeah, I do. And I personally think this is what they want. I think they want us all to jump off the ship because they're making it look like it's about to sink. So if we compare the notional value loss, only 8 countries have a GDP more than what the crypto market eroded in less than 3 quarters. Countries like Canada and Italy have a GDP of little more than 2 trillion, whereas Brazil's GDP stood at 1.83 trillion. The total market capitalization of the digital market is marginally above the 1 trillion mark, which was more than 3 trillion at its peak in November 2021. Bitcoin, the largest crypto token, is barely above the 25,000 level. It has dropped more than 20% over the weekend, with its market cap slipping below 500 billion or half a trillion. Its largest peer, Ethereum, has barely managed to hold 1,300 mark, with total valuation just above 160 billion. Both the tokens are down about 70% from their peaks. Bitcoin's dominance in the total market cap has been about 47.25%, which shows that altcoins are left with value worth merely a few $billion. I'm not going to read all of this, but as you can see, the crypto market has taken a hit. What I believe is that this is by design. Now, the reason why I believe this way is because of knowing the agenda. They want everyone out of the digital space. They're going to tear it down. Now, I'm not saying you can't lose your shirt, because they can definitely bring it down to zero. Make you lose everything and start all over again. They can do that. But I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to bring the cryptocurrency market down to zero. What I think is happening, and I agree with Brother Karras here, a controlled crash. It is managed crash. It is a managed dissolution of the old system. Now, if it's a dissolution of the old system, if you hanging on to your cash, that's part of the old system. If you hanging on to your cash, that's part of the old system. Like I say, don't take financial advice from me, because I'm not good at it. But I see things, and it's just my opinion. I see things, and I believe what's happening is they're bringing down the system to go into the new system. They're bringing down cash to go into the digital. They're bringing down the accessibility of food and the accessibility of oil and all the things that we've gotten used to. Why? Because it's all going to be managed. According to the New World Order globalists, right? And this, I forgot what the document was, but I remember this from like over 30 years ago, that the new stock market is going to be government led. It's not going to be a free marketplace anymore. Value of items are going to be based upon the value that the government or the world governmental system gives to it. So if you know that it's going into a new type of system, how do you survive? Now, one of the ways if you got property. Now, if you got a lot of debt, they're gonna want that debt paid. Otherwise, they're gonna take your property. The other way to maintain wealth is to put it in gold and silver. That's if you want to maintain it. Now, if you want to make money, this is my opinion. Eat the meat, spit out the bones. I don't do financial advice. I don't think crypto going nowhere. Will it lose a lot of value in the beginning? Yes, I do. I think it is. But let me show you, some things don't make sense, right? Some things don't make sense because we're at war, supposedly, with Russia, right? We're supposedly at war with Russia. We're in a disagreement with China. Turkey over there acting all foolish with Greece. Israel is messing with Iran, their enemies. But there's one thing I notice about all these countries. Because I'm going to tell you this. If I had an enemy and I had a secret that you ain't want nobody else to know, I'd tell everybody your secret. If Iran was really against the U.S. and the U.S. against Iran and Iran against Israel and Russia is against the U.S. and against the West, I would tell all your secrets. I would tell that you stole God's people and put them into slavery worldwide. I would tell them that you then went ahead and stole their identity. I would go ahead and tell everything I know about my enemy that he did so that I can, at the very least, get everybody else on my side. But why don't they do that? Why don't they do that? I'm going to tell you why. Because everyone, everybody, every single nation benefits off our captivity, which means that they have an agenda to keep us enslaved. Now, if they all have an agenda and they all have a purpose to make sure we stay enslaved so that they can stay in power, then they're not going to tell. So here's what I'm seeing. I'm telling you, I see things differently because I ask questions. If Russia is at war with the U.S. and Israel hates Iran and Iran hates Israel and blah, 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 and they don't want to tell the secrets, then there's a bigger reason why all of this is happening. Understand, there's a bigger reason that all of this is happening. So when we talk about war, this is my opinion, okay? This is my opinion. When we talk about war, Russia is at war not with our leaders of the U.S. See, we think that when they're at war, they're fighting each other. It's the rich against the rich. It's the Luciferic. That used to be the case. It used to be those who weren't part of the cabal, but all of the rich folks part of the cabal now. So when they say they are at war with the U.S., they are at war with the people. When they say they are at war with Iran, they are at war with the Iranian people. When they say they are at war with the Ukrainians, they are at war with the Ukrainian people. Why? Because if you notice, every single government is still adhering to United Nations resolutions. All of these nations were still adhering to what happened over the last 2 years. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All the nations, although they're supposed to be enemies, are all on one accord for the New World Order Luciferic agenda. Okay, so they're all together in this world government. They all together on having a digital currency. They all together on changing the system. They're all together in making sure the power structure moves from the west to the east. They're all together to make sure that the Chinese Silk Road, the new one, comes to pass. And prosper. They're all together selling out the US. I ain't got a problem with it. But understand that it makes no sense when you see these countries supposed to be enemies. And like playing chess, there's a certain move you should take. You like, okay, well, I see that hanging piece right there. I'm going to take it with my rook. So I use my rook to take that piece. I didn't see the trap, so I take that and checkmate. Understand it, when it doesn't make sense, you have to ask questions. I'm telling you, there is a war and a lot of people dying. But what we don't realize is it is the elite against the people. It is the establishment against the individuals. See, they want to take away the guns and everything from those right-wing Christians. They want to enslave the whole world. Understand that blockchain ain't no different than the iron chain. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? Blockchain ain't no different than that iron chain. Now, the Bible says that those who enslave you will go into captivity. They don't even see it. See, I told y'all I see things different. I see the traps, I see the moves, I see the pins. Blockchain ain't nothing but a slave chain. It's electronic form. Blockchain is going to put everyone who's under the Western system into bondage. Now, we got to ask ourselves questions as we move along. So Russian ruble leaps to near 7-year high versus euro. This is in May 23rd, 2022. So we have sanctions against Russia, but yet the ruble going up. Now, you telling me the people who have AI, the people who run scenarios, the people who control this financial system did not know that when they put sanctions on Russia, Russia would do what they're doing and increase the value of their currency. Russia's ruble hit 7-year high versus euro. Currency propped up by capital controls hits 58.68 versus euro, gains over 4% versus dollar. The Russian ruble firmed more than 6% against the euro on Monday to a near 7-year high, boosted by capital controls, strong oil prices, and an upcoming month-end tax period. Now, understand this. This is complex chess. This is grandmaster level chess. Now let me ask you all something. Have you all played chess? If you played chess, give me a 1. If you haven't played chess before, give me a 2. Look like it's 50-50. So for those who haven't played chess before, if you play a stronger person, definitely if a weaker person goes up against a grandmaster, there's a ton of moves you're not going to see. This is what I'm seeing. I'm not saying I'm a grandmaster, and I'm not saying a grandmaster of global politics and Luciferian maneuvering. But understand, you got to ask yourself questions. The ones who now have propped up the Russian ruble, supposed to be their enemy. Not only that, according to our leaders, we're still at war. There's still sanctions. Well, they don't call it an official war, but there's still sanctions against Russia. Their sanctions are causing us grief. Their sanctions supposedly causing the oil prices, gas prices to go up. Their sanctions supposedly causing wheat prices to go up. Their sanctions supposedly causing the lack of availability of goods. Now, if you knew all of this was happening, if you knew it was hurting your economy, if you knew all these things were causing you trouble, wouldn't you remove the sanctions? Yes or no, family? Yes or no? Would you remove the sanctions if you say, hey, you know what? These sanctions ain't working the way we thought. Those sanctions hurting our economy. Those sanctions hurting our people. You know what? We can't get no food. We can't get no gas. We can't get no oil. We can't get nothing. We can't get no metals over from China. Wouldn't you remove the sanctions? So if you didn't remove the sanctions, then you don't want to remove the sanctions. Therefore, what the results that you have is what you want, right? The results that you're getting is what you want. Now, the question is, what do they want? The question is, what do they want? Now, I'm gonna play a few minutes of this video here. I'm not gonna play long, but when you see all of these little signs happening, it lets you understand that you're being played. We're being played. And like I said before, if the Most High don't come soon, we're in trouble. It is what it is. I'm not trying to cause no fear. Don't get it twisted. But they're playing us so well, and most people don't get it. I'm sitting there. I see them setting up the pins. I see them setting up the traps, trying to set me up for mate. But I'm dealing with grandmasters here. Now, I can see certain moves of a grandmaster because I'm a better player than somebody who's new. So let's say I'm rated like 1900 or 2000. If I'm rated 1900 to 2000, I can still see the moves that a grandmaster in chess might make. I can see the moves. I may not beat him in chess, but I can see the moves. All right, so
here. Iran is set to be the first country to roll out a biometric digital ID needed in order to buy food, needed in order to eat, right? Needed in order to survive. You must go get your digital ID from the government. The same digital ID that central banks are telling us is needed in order to roll out the central bank digital currencies. The same digital ID that the World Economic Forum establishes is at the very crux of this fourth industrial revolution. Yeah, all of that. Now you need to go get your ID in order to eat. Now there's some interesting details about the way Iran is implementing this that I want to walk through today, because I think this is a bellwether for how it's going to be rolled out around the rest of the world. And make no mistake, this is food rationing based on your digital ID. Let's read down here. You're able to buy as much bread as you want, but if you want to get the subsidized prices, then you're going to need the ID. Then you'll have access to, quote, a limited amount of bread at subsidized prices. And you can keep buying the rest at market rates if you want, right? You can buy as much bread for $1 million a loaf as you want. But for the 50% of Iran that lives below the poverty line, that's not an option, right? Their only option is to go get in line and accept this mark, this digital biometric ID.
So Iran already has this digital biometric ID. Now, the question we have to ask is, why is Iran rolling out a digital biometric ID? Is this not the goal of the West, who's supposed to be their enemies? Is this not the goal of Israel, which is supposed to be their enemies? Is this not the goal of the United Nations, which is supposed to be their enemies? Why are they going along with the program? I thought they are all at war against the West. I thought they are all at war against the Western power structure that controls the UN, that controls the existing system, because they want to create a new system. Or is it that they're all on the same page when it comes to the global economic order? They're all on the same page for the 2030 You know what? I don't want to mention it because I don't want to get flagged. 2030, look it up. I'm gonna show it on here. I'm not gonna really talk about it. See what it is, they're all on the same page for clean energy. They're all on the same page for new technology, for the virtual system, for certain rights. They're all on the same page. Yes, Big Red, that's it. So they're all on the same page. And so Iran has already started implementing the system. Now, as he mentioned, it is tied to a digital ID. It is tied to a digital ID that's going to be tied to a digital currency. Now, my question to you is back to the cryptocurrency, back to the crash, back to the failure of the existing system. If you know that they're going towards a digital currency, why are you getting out of it? I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. This is what I be asking myself. This is what, look, I talked to my brother about this. He disagrees with me. He disagrees with me. But my question is, if you know they're going to a digital system, you already see Iran putting in place this digital ID. It's already here in America. Y'all just don't really know it. But we're going to get there. That's why, when I say certain things and I say I don't think we have a lot of time, it's either going to be we don't have a lot of time because, we all ain't going to make it, or the Most High is coming to save us and we're going back to the land for the second Exodus, or we're going into the wilderness, whatever you call that, right? Look at the signs. So summer of hunger, food shelves struggle as high demand, low supply collide. Standing in the protein section of Rochester's food shelf this week, Virgin Merit pointed to a shelf dotted with jars of peanut butter and cans of chili. See how there's no shelves on the ends? That used to be full, said Merritt, executive director of the Channel One Regional Food Bank. Behind her, a case that once kept a variety of frozen meat now only offers one type of fish. We're rearranging the shelves to try to give that look of abundance because we don't want people to worry that there isn't enough food. This sleight of hand is meant to disguise that there's less food supply than there was even a few months ago. Meanwhile, more people are coming to the food shelf because inflation means they're paying more for basic expenses. You're going to pay your rent or mortgage. You're going to put gas in your car. You're going to pay your child care, she said. And then what gets further down the line where people skimp is food. Here's the thing. So we have a shortage, as we all see. We see that it's the same thing in Iran. Now, understand this. What do they call it, family? When you don't have enough of food, but you have to feed the rest of mankind. When you don't have enough abundance and you're at war. What happened during World War II? What happened during World War I? It is called rationing. It is called rationing. So what's going to happen is, fam, you're going to get your universal basic income, which means you're not going to have a job. A lot of people not going to have a job, but you're still going to eat. But you're going to be standing in line, or you're going to wait for your number to come up to go pick up your bag of groceries, and it's never going to change. This is the new order. They're going to say there's not enough food for you. Therefore, the food, the water, the medicine will all have to be rationed. They're going to use the digital system like you saw in Iran. They're going to use the digital system like you saw in Iran. And they're going to ration food supplies. They're going to ration clean water. They're going to ration medicine. This is the plan for the West. This is the plan for the West. Universal basic income payments 2022. Which cities and states offer these payments up to $12,000? Not which cities will offer. Which cities offer universal basic income? Why is this important? Because when the world is on universal basic income, you're going to be on welfare. Don't do what I say, you don't get a check. You went ahead and cut somebody out, you don't get a check. You're not doing what you didn't say what I told you to say on social media, you don't get a check. You don't get your food rationings. You don't get nothing. See, they are already moving you into the system. You're already in the system. You are already in the Luciferic world order system. The only difference is all of the exits aren't fully closed yet. Yes, UBI means complete control. UBI means you're a slave, Neo. Now, like I said, people don't listen. Israel has been warning for years. From what we said, what we expect is for our Elohim to save us. I ask you now, Israel, to call on your God, to call on your Shua, to call on Yahuwah to deliver us, because we're in trouble. I told y'all I see things different. The universal basic income is a relief for the economy of a large number of families in the United States in tight financial situations. Since the payments either monthly, at certain times during the year, and once every 365 days, the government stimulates the economy of these families. According to the original idea of entrepreneur Andrew Yang, the idea was to offer stimulus checks to lower income families. This help would be in the amount of $2,000 a year and contemplated about 500,000 people when he decided to run for mayor of New York when he left the Democratic Party. Okay, so let's scroll down here. Alaska, looking at last year in the northernmost state of the country, aid totaled about 643,000 with 1,114 in aid per person for the entire year. Pittsburgh, Columbia, Chicago, New Orleans. Here, students between the ages of 16 and 24 will be assisted with monthly checks of $350 to help with their education. Look, I didn't even know that. Now, they're talking about regulating crypto, which is what I expected. All right, let's continue with this UBI. Newark, New York State, Rochester, Shreveport, all are doing UBI. This is turning slowly up the heat of the frog in the pot. Slowly turning the heat on the frog in the pot. Because here's the thing. When they offer you UBI, family, which is free money, are you going to tell them no? If you're going to tell them no to the UBI, I want to see, family. If you're going to tell them no when they offer you universal basic income, please say yes. If you're going to take that money and run with it, please say no. I'm just curious. I say no too. I ain't taking nothing, but I'm curious. How many will take that check and run with it? Come on, y'all. Y'all know some of y'all gonna take that check and run with it. You know it. Y'all know some of y'all gonna take that check. Come on, somebody be honest. Somebody out there be honest. I got at least one person out there who's gonna take that check. All right. So y'all say no, which is the smart thing, right? I'm not taking it either, right? But what if you don't have no food? What if you can't pay your electricity? What if you don't have no job? See, we got one honest person here. Yes, check. What if you don't have those things? What you gonna tell them? No. I'm gonna tell them no. But I'm not. Everybody ain't like me. But I respect those, who say no. See, because y'all know when the genie grants you a wish, there's trouble with that, right? It's a trap. When you take that UBI, you get used and hooked on that UBI. When you take government assistance, they can tell you what to do, where to go, what to say. Now, also, it's all part of the plan of the new digital economy. Right now, some of you all are going to remember this from my Market the Beast video. This is a document, Decentralized Finance, Spot on Fundraising Stablecoins in Switzerland. Understand that Switzerland is already the center for a blockchain digitized economy. Let me ask you a question, family. Do y'all remember World War II? Even World War I. But y'all remember World War II? Where did the elite hide their gold? Where did the elite hide all their money? Where was their money safe? Who's the center and control of the world monetary system? Because this is where every rich person in Europe hid their money. Yes, Switzerland. You want to know what the future is? Watch Switzerland. You want to know what they got planned for you? Watch Switzerland. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but some of you all remember this from the Mark of the Beast video. I'm not going to read all of this. I just want to show you something because this is tokenization basics. In the Mark of the Beast video, now, if y'all haven't seen it, it's over there on Odyssey. Now, or Odyssey. Tokenization basics. What is tokenization and how does it work? Now, I'm not going to read this, but understand, as I mentioned in the Mark of the Beast video, everything going to have a token. Every single thing going to have a token. If they could tokenize the air, they would tokenize the air. Houses will have a token. Cars will have a token. Clothes will have a token. The purchase of water will have a token. Riding on a bus will have a token. You will have a token. The Bible calls it the mark of the beast. Now, my question to you is, back to the crypto failure and the destruction of the existing system. If we're to abandon our crypto holdings, and I'm not fighting for crypto because I always believe from day one that crypto is a Ponzi scheme. But I also believe that the dollar was a Ponzi scheme. I believe the whole system is a Ponzi scheme. But it's their Ponzi scheme and they control the system. So we had to play in their Ponzi scheme. We had to play in their stock market, which some call a gambling house. They created it and we got to play in it. But the time cometh when no man will be able to what? Buy, trade, or sell unless he have the mark, his name, or the number of his name. Can I rephrase that for you? No one will be able to buy, trade, or sell unless he has the mark, a tattoo, his name, whatever his name is. I think it could be Z, or the number of his name, which is a token. We are in the last end, the end game of the beast system. The final few moves to put us into complete domination and control. There's only like 5 moves left before checkmate. 5 moves left before checkmate. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here. You know how it is. You know how some of the Israelites came out and said, you know what? It's okay to take that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Remember some of them Israelites on some of them channels and some of them camps said, it's okay to take some of that stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about in the last 2 years. Those same Israelites, along with those Christians who told you it was okay to take some stuff, they're going to tell you it's okay to take that mark. It's okay to take that chip. It's okay to be tokenized because God not going to care. He know you ain't going to be able to eat if you don't have that mark. He knows you ain't going to have no shelter if you don't have that mark. That's what they're going to tell you. Surely God didn't mean when he said, just like Satan, you know it's going to happen. They already did it with the stuff. Some people say lollipop. But like I said, we are 5 moves to make. 5 moves to checkmate. Now, I want y'all to pay close attention to this, right? This diagram. Can y'all see this? If you can't, try to make it bigger. All right. Now, let's look up here first, right? So we got payment options. This is for the digital currency, right? CHF, Swiss franc, SGD, Singapore dollar, fiat, governmental issue, legal tender. See, there's going to be a transition to the new system. So some of these are going to be electronic. So we have SMB6 digital franc, central bank digital currency. This is what they're trying to do now. The Bank of France, Euro digital payment solution. Now, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Meal points, loyalty points, corporate points, and digital fiat. Then we got Bitcoin, which is another form of currency, cryptocurrencies, and Ethereum. All of this is going to be digital. All of this is going to exist for a while until we come to this single central bank digital currency. But there's going to be a transitional period. That's what I keep telling people when I tell my brother, because he argues with me. I said there's going to be a transition. I believe whether that transition is going to be a year, 2 years, 3 to 5. There's going to be a transition period where we can leave. I'm not saying everything hunky-dory over there in Africa, but I know what we're getting here. So understand we got meal points. What are meal points? Shall we go back to the article or the video dealing with Iran, where you have a digital ID? I told you they're going to be rationing food. They're going to be rationing electricity. You're going to have meal points so you can have so many meals, or you got enough points to get some bread and a little bit of meat and some veggies. The rich are going to have 10 million meal points and they can get whatever they want. Loyalty points is for those who are on social media. You ain't say the right thing. You get a demerit, or you don't get as many loyalty points as you should. Therefore, you can't get gas this week because you have been a bad boy on Facebook. You've been a bad girl on YouTube. Your loyalty points ain't going to be enough for you to fill up your tank. Now, if you get in line, if you take the mark of the beast, if you support the different pronouns, Here, have a bunch of meal points. Here's your loyalty points. Oh, and by the way, here's your universal basic income. So, physical objects and financial products. See, this is where we're going. I follow this guy on AMTV, white dude. He's smart. I like him. He has what he call a smart, what he call it, a island project. Some of y'all know him. What's his name? Chris, I think. He has what he call an island project, and the island project is going to be tied to tokens. And you're going to have a partial interest in those tokens, which means you have a partial ownership in that property, partial ownership in a car, partial ownership in a hotel, partial ownership in all these. You won't own anything. You're going to be like Bitcoin. You know how if you ain't got $20,000 or $50,000 or $60,000 to buy a coin, you got a fractional ownership in a coin, a cryptocurrency, a Bitcoin. This is what they're doing. So fine arts is going to be tokenized. Automobiles, medical devices, electronic devices, certificates, real estate, financial instruments, fixed income, equities, coffee going to be tokenized, pharmaceuticals, consumables, food and beverage, gold, platinum, precious metals, silver, collectible devices, virtual collectibles, like those, what they call that, the non-fungible tokens. Everything gonna be tokenized. Everything gonna be tokenized. There's one thing that's missing here, family. What's missing in this list here of the physical objects and financial products? I don't see it. Can you tell me, family, what is missing here? What is missing here? There's one thing that's not tokenized that will be tokenized, and they're not telling it. You. Yep, humans. You're going to have your token. It's called the mark of the beast. Everything going to be tracked, stamped, followed, controlled. You won't even be able to go to the bathroom unless your token allows you to, unless you have enough loyalty points to go take a dump. Y'all see how I see things? I know something wrong with me. I know. I see too much. Some people say I'm a conspiracy theorist. I guess I am. Intangible assets, licenses, gonna have a token. You got a license, you a doctor, token. You a lawyer, token. Patents, you create something, token. Intellectual property, token. Royalties, token. Copyrights, token. Trademarks, token. Various rights, token. You know what? Everything you can think of, I told you, if they can tokenize the air, they will, and don't think they won't. I don't know how they pull it off. But what's happening here, they're trying to make it like they're creating this system to protect you. Privacy. Your privacy is of our utmost concern. Your privacy is of our utmost concern. Your security is of our utmost concern. So we're going to make sure everything is encrypted. We're going to make sure everything is on the blockchain so no one can steal your identity. No one can steal your passwords. No one can steal this. No one can steal that. You're going to be secure. Yeah. The most secure place is in jail. That's where you're going. This is why I say Israel needs to cry out to the Most High now. Because look, they are at war with the people. The Gentiles are screwed. The Gentiles are screwed. Now, those who are attached to us when we leave, hey, some of them might get out. But they don't care because they think we all crazy. They think we all crazy. But I'm showing you what the plan is, and you see it happening right in front of your face. So if you have in Iran a digital ID to manage food, does that not remind you of the meal points up there? Does that not remind you of the meal points right here? Do you think they're going to get rid of digital currency? Now, I had an argument with my brother. He said, he make a good point. He said they could crash that too. They could crash the cryptocurrencies, bring it down to zero, start over. Yeah, they could. But my theory is, and it's just a theory, that if you want someone to go from the fire to the water or from the woods to the beach, you got to make it happy over here. You got to make it look like candy and coconuts. You got to make it look like this is the best thing since sliced bread, so people want to jump right in. When they take away that dollar, that paper currency, and destroy it, right, you ain't going to have nowhere to put your money. You ain't going to have no place to say it's safe. You're going to be like, where's my retirement? You're going to say, let me put it into digital. And when they want to move into the CBDC and have the digital currency, you're going to say that's fine because we need something new. We need something safer. We need something encrypted. We can't have this happen again. We need to make sure that we don't have a failing economy ever again. And this is how they're going to draw you in. And they're going to give you universal basic income so that you can pay your bills. And then they're going to give you rations for food, which is going to be meal points. And then once you're used to it, just like many people were on those stamps, oh, you got to kick the husband out of the house. Remember that back in the 70s? Oh, you want to get on food stamps? You want to get on the government subsidy program, whatever it is? The husband can't live in there with the kids. They're going to say you got to accept certain lifestyles. You got to take the chip. You got to take the mark. You got to do these things. So we see this already being formulated in Iran. We also see this being formulated in New York, Rochester, Shreveport, New Orleans, Newark, Chicago, Columbia, Pittsburgh, Alaska. It's already here. See, this is why I say there isn't a lot of time. These are the last 5 moves to make. We about to be made it, and ain't nobody realize it. I'm gonna tell you, sometimes it's hard being me. Sometimes it's hard being me. It's hard being up in his head. I think too much. I ain't gonna lie. I think too much. My sister tell me, you ought to just think on nice things. I know she right. But I do things too much. I see people doing stuff and I be like, that don't make no sense. I said, we supposed to be at war with Russia and we doing that. We supposed to be at war with Iran. How come that's happening? I thought they were our enemy. It don't make no sense. It's a game. It is a world-changing reset. It is a play put on the stage to reshuffle the economy and the world governmental system. We are on a chessboard being repositioned, and it is a play that they're playing in front of us on the screen, telling us what to do, what's happening, where to go, where to hide, how to do, so that they can put us into this new system and control us. This is why I tell you, we need to pray. I told you it's hard being up in my head. I see too much. I see too much. It ain't fun up in here all the time, up in my head. I'm serious. I'd be like, that don't make no sense. Let me go research. I say, oh, that's what y'all up to. Oh, I see. Oh, it's the okie doke. I get it. Yeah. I got you. I got you. So I'm not going to really talk about this. Read it on the screen for yourself. This is the goal that they're pursuing. All of the nations of the world are on this thing right here. All of the nations of the world are pursuing this now. This is total totalitarian control. This is a technocracy. The good thing is The Bible says of the 10 toes, they're going to be partly strong, partly weak. Partly strong, partly weak. There's going to be areas of freedom. And there's going to be areas of total despotism. I told you, it's going to be so bad. At least when our ancestors were enslaved, they could try to run away. And some of them succeeded. When our ancestors were enslaved, some of them could fight back. When our ancestors were enslaved, some of them made it to Haiti. When our ancestors were enslaved, some of them made it to the north. Ain't happening for the Gentiles. The Bible says double to them to what they've done to us. Double to them what they've done to us. Their change is going to be electronic. They ain't going to be able to leave their house without drones coming up on them. They ain't going to be able to go down the street without drones watching them. Did you see the movie They Live? They ain't going to be able to resist with robots walking down the street. They ain't going to be able to steal no food because every step they take going to be monitored. You either going to have to take the mark and submit, or you're going to die. Those who leave with us, and I don't know how many it is, I really think it's going to be far and few in between. Those who live with us are going to be happy to serve us. This is the agenda. This is what's being implemented by the US, by China, by Russia, by Spain, by Portugal, by Singapore, by Taiwan, by Africa. This is the agenda. They're all in cahoots. I know they don't like me, but I'm like, I know what y'all doing to me and my people, even though I expect us to leave. So read this right here. His goal: end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. They're going to control what you eat. We already see that. Read the steps. I'm not reading none of this because I don't want to be flagged. This is why they all work together, but then they say they're enemies. They say they're enemies and they're fighting each other, but they all have the same goal, which is this global UN technocratic system. You got 8 years, really 7.5 years until the total lockdown happens. Until the total lockdown happens, you got 7.5 years. And then all who are part of this Western technocratic Luciferic order are going to be enslaved. If it wasn't for the scriptures, I'd be concerned we would be with them. If it wasn't for the scriptures, I would be concerned that we will be enslaved with them. But the Bible says we leave. The Bible says we leave. Now, it don't look good. Look, as bad as they did to us, their ancestors did to us, it's going to be worse on them. Can you imagine, especially for those who decide to become a part of the Luciferic world order, they won't have their own thoughts. The goal is to hook them up to the quote-unquote virtual world, implants in the head. They won't even have their own thoughts. And when they want to have peace in their mind, and I actually read this, if you want peace in your mind, you're going to have to go to a secluded section where you are cut off from the network so you can have peace. Can you imagine the torment that you can't even have your own thoughts because they have thoughts in your head and torment you? Can you imagine the insanity? Can you imagine the drugged out folks? Can you imagine how bad this thing is? But no, we crazy. We don't know what we're talking about. We've been warning y'all for years now. Told you this was coming before it happened. But we the crazy one. 5 moves to make. You Cobra, all you do is talk gloom and doom, gloom and doom. Sometimes that's all there is to talk about. Now remember, I told you, if you want to know what's going to happen, look at Switzerland. See, Switzerland was always the head of the monster. I mean, one of the heads. Let's put it that way. One of the heads of the monster. That's why the Luciferic elite always hid their money in Swiss banks. Switzerland is the model for what's coming. And we see little bits being implemented already here. Already here is already here. I don't want to get flagged. Let me hit that music. I don't want to be getting hit. Just watch that. How much time y'all think we got? What else needs to happen? The only thing that's left is the invasion of Babylon. This is the new system. I'm not going to have nothing to do with it. I'm not having nothing to do with it. You can keep it. Not me, dude. The mark of the beast is already here. It's already here in Switzerland. The biggest resistance is from those who are born again, whether you Jew or Gentile. These people have no problem with taking the mark. But I told you there's going to be 3 forms of it. The mark, his name, and the number. Right now they're dealing with the tokenized, the number of the beast. I'm just saying. See, a lot of people be lying. America ain't Babylon. We still got a lot of time. This is our homeland. America, where we from? Not much time left. I told you 5 moves to make. 5 moves to make. Now remember, we saw food rationing, right? We saw they're going to have loyalty points. Everything and everyone's going to be tokenized. We mentioned that they're going to go to clean energy. But while we sleep, they progress. Germany shuts down half of its 6 remaining nuclear plants. I ain't got to read no more. Germany shuts down 6 of its nuclear plants. U.S. nuclear plant shut down. State intervention policy concerns. U.S. shutting down nuclear plants. Y'all could go read this article. Everything gonna have a token. You're gonna get your allotted meal points. You're going to get your allotted electrical points. You're going to get your allotted medical points. Heck to the no. Heck to the no. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me when I can go see a doctor. You're not going to tell me when I can eat. You're not going to tell me when I can take a dump. No. You're not going to tell me how long I can have my AC on. No. Not going to happen. They must think somebody around here punk. I ain't no punk. I told y'all that. I'm not. The Most High said, don't fear what they do to the body, but fear him, or those who destroy the body, but fear him who can destroy both the soul and body in hell. I fear the Most High. See, some people don't know he exists, and some people think he all nice all the time and all this stuff. No. Sometimes he gonna judge you for your sin. He said that, didn't he? He's merciful. He's kind. He's long-suffering, gracious. But there's a point where the sin come to its full. And I'm in there with this scripture. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her with her flesh, and burn her with fire. Understand, this is just my opinion. This war, or these wars, are all staged. This is my opinion. It's just a theory. And that the war is really not against the nations, it's not against the leaders of those nations, because they all compromise in working with the global government. These wars are against the people. These wars are to remove the resistors. These wars are to put in the new system and conquer those who have guns, those who want freedom, those who want to determine their own destiny. They're rearranging the system and the power. The power is going to move from America to China. The power is going to move from America to Russia. The whole goal is to go towards the eastern side of the statue's legs, right? You got the 2 legs, 5 on each, 5 toes on one side, 5 on the other, left and right, east and west. The Silk Road is where the power is heading towards. This is why America's economy is crashing, because it's on purpose. This is why your shelves are short, because in order for you to get into the system of rationing, where you get meal points, they have to make sure there's not a lot of food. You're going to say, oh, well, I guess we don't have a lot of food. Let me get my meal points. Okay, you're allocated a certain amount of food. You can have some milk and some cheese. While the rich get steak and eggs. It's bad. Because, see, the Bible says the 10 hate the whore. The whore is the people of America. It's not the leaders of America. The leaders of America have already sold America out. It's them Gentiles hiding in their bunkers with their AR-15s. It's those right-wing Christians that believe in freedom and liberty in the so-called pursuit of righteousness and what is it? Liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That's it. See, everybody think it's just a war between the U.S. and Russia. No. They're all on the same side. It is war against the old system. It is an indirect war. You know how they used to fight proxies, right? Proxy wars. This is a war, a proxy war against the people. They want to take away your rights. They want to take away your freedom of worship. They want to make sure they control what you eat. They want to make sure you put stuff in you and have no right to say you not, because you're going to lose your meal points. You're going to lose your loyalty points. You're going to be part of the social credit system. That's why I say this crash or supposed crash of crypto is fake. They're shaking the bag so they could get all them dust particles out. That's all them people who were hanging in there in crypto. Now, will they pass laws to regulate it? Yes. Could they pass laws and they regulate it and you lose your shirt? Yes. Because we don't know how they're going to play this thing. My question to you is, are you going to leave your money in the dollars, knowing that they want a digital system? Knowing that they got to go to a CBDC digital system? How is cash going to survive and maintain any value? Saudi Arabia is trading their oil to China now for yuan dollars. Is that not what America used to do? And one of the reasons why America became so great is because they traded their oil in US dollars. Can't you see the writing on the wall? A lot of people are going to be broke, busted, and disgusted. This is why, and I'm not telling you what to do because I'm not going nowhere. Now, let me get a few $1 million, I might leave. But understand this. There's a time coming, according to the scriptures, just the way I see it. You can read it any way you want. You can reinterpret it how you want. The Bible says flee. The Bible says flee so that you won't get caught up in her sins. The Bible says go into the wilderness so you could be safe. I used to think that the wilderness among the people was our people, not necessarily anymore. It could be. But I think when we flee into the wilderness, it's just my opinion, eat the meat, spit out the bones, you ain't got to agree with me at all. But that we going to be refugees in the beginning. This is my theory. All right? It's a theory. I don't know how it's going to play out. Some of us going to be refugees at some point in time when we in other countries. God going to show them who we are. They're going to realize we the people, and then they're going to send us back to the promised land with gold and silver and precious goods. That's my theory. When I try to make the scriptures fit. But it's funny, I'll have videos tomorrow why Yacoba's wrong about that. You know Yacoba said this. You know why he wrong? This is why Tail Ministries are wrong. Just like this guy, he did some video on us recently about why Tail Ministries is wrong about Yeshua not being Yah. Whatever. I didn't cover my point on that. I didn't make my point on that. I'm not debating none of these jokers no more. They could do hit videos all they want. I'm not biting. It's sort of funny. I see a lot of stuff going on lately. There's chaos everywhere. There's chaos on the urban apologist side, chaos on the Israelite side, chaos everywhere. I'm pulling back. I'm going to sit in my cubby hole, drink my tea, put a little honey in it, relax and wait for the Most High. So once again, fam, I say that, go ahead, do your thing. Whatever the Most High leads you to do, understand we've been played and there's 5 moves to make. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Love you with the love of the Messiah. If you want to support this ministry, there you go. We demonetized. Here's our Cash App, $TOTW 7101, or you could become a patron. So, and also please support the Dry Bones project. Pray for the family. Pray that the Most High comes and deliver us soon. It's dangerous out here in these streets.